High fructose corn syrup is the new superfood.
Coca-Cola, the world's largest beverage maker, has been secretly working with bloggers around the globe to spread its message that Coke can be a healthy treat. And the company isn't just working with any old bloggers, they're specifically paying nutritionists and fitness experts to suggest to their readers that a can of Coke can be good for you. A Coca-Cola spokesperson told the Associated Press, "Every big brand works with bloggers and has paid talent." Considering soda sales have plummeted nearly 20% over the last 16 years, Coke may be willing to invest a lot of money in their own personal blogging army.
All right, so I would be remiss if I didn't start with this. It's one of my favorite talking points. In our Coca-Cola here in America and in most of our sodas, we don't use real sugar. We use high fructose corn syrup because they figured out a way to make corn sweeter than sugar, and it's cheaper. So you have to get a Mexican Coke.
It tastes so much better too.
To get real
if you
sugar,
drink
and
Coke,
it actually tastes better. So that's a sidebar to this. But people really need to understand that's what these companies are doing. They're not even giving us real sugar. Not that sugar is good for you. We're making corn into something sweet. So
see, this story sounds like the Coke people are in cahoots with the drought people, because they want you to drink more Coke, less water.
Ah, the drought people from before. We're going to annotate to that. It's right
I'm
over
sorry.
here. The segment before. No, you're good. Shouldn't shit like this, I'm not for over controlling everything, but shouldn't shit like this be illegal? Coke funding these things to somehow trick people into thinking that is, there's an insane amount of sugar in there. Everyone knows it.
What kind of crappy dietitian or fitness instructor are you if you're recommending Coke in any capacity?
But can't you get anyone to do anything?
Yeah.
Like if you pay someone enough money, they'll say anything. Right, Jimmy?
Yes, this is correct. How much are you paying me to say that?
see, you did that well. Coke is terrible for us, right? And we're
Do you
just
drink
not-
soda?
I do not drink soda pop. No, I
don't
just
drink
stopped
soda
drinking
either.
soda a long time ago. There's a lot of bad things. Not only the sugar, but even if you go non-sugar, the
Right, the
acid in it-
aspartame.
the acid is bad for your teeth and your bones and stuff like that. And so it's not good for you at all anywhere around. And aspartame, creates tumors. So I'm not supposed to say that because that's not medically proven, but I'll say it.
Yeah. Well, you're not a science magician. You're just a guy saying your thoughts.
I'm a comedian, so
about,
I can say
yeah,
it.
you're allowed to say things like that. So what do we do about stuff like this? Like if they really, because people do buy it, you know what I mean? They get some crock to go on TV and say this.
Yeah, I have a
And we find this
fascination-
all the time, right? In all these studies, they can get anyone to say anything.
Yeah, I have a fascination with what I like to call mice type. And they use it in articles and they use it on television when there's a disclaimer and you can't read it. It's like
Right.
the smallest thing possible.
Right.
And I feel like they say, well, there's a disclaimer, or they have those special ads in magazines that are supposed to look like real articles.
Yeah.
They know that people aren't paying attention to the fine print.
Right, so they literally will show you an article on one side and then the back is all of the horrible shit that it does to you.
Right,
Yeah.
or it'll be in tiny little print where you
Yeah.
can't read it. I mean, it's like the pharmaceutical ads where they're like, see if this drug is right for you. It may kill you, but see
Right.
if it's right for you.
You can
right?
get a boner, but you're gonna commit suicide and you might choke your wife and vomit and diarrhea and et cetera, et cetera.
But you have a great boner. Yeah,
But
I
you
mean,
have a great boner. Yeah.
So I think disclaimers are important, but I do think there has to be some more regulation somewhere along the way where people are actually forced in some capacity to pay attention, or it's more obvious of what's going on. Or I guess you just have to be smarter, which is what you're going to say, I'm sure.
Do people just
Like
have
more
to be
discerning.
smart? So is that ultimately, is that what everything comes down to? It's just education, right? We have to teach people that when you get information from Coca-Cola about how healthy Coca-Cola might be, that may not be the best place to be getting your information.
I was suspicious of my doctor when he started recommending Coca-Cola. But when he said Camel Lights, I really knew he was a bad doctor and he was taking money from somebody. They even got a science that recently just really got revealed that the scientist from all the big senators quote from the Smithsonian Institute has been on the take from fossil fuel industries, taking millions of dollars over just to produce these studies that say climate change is happening because of solar flares.
Right, so he's like the one guy denying
He was
it,
the one
right?
guy and he had some position at the Smithsonian, so everybody liked to reference him. And it turns out he's completely on the take. And for $1 million, which is less money than Dr. Evil asked for in the 60s.
Are we going to ever get this? So this issue with sort of corporations funding education, or what poses as education, that's pretty much the most important issue of our day, isn't it? As corporations keep tightening their grip on politicians.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly important to be a good consumer, and not just in product, but in news and information. I mean, I tell people that all the time when we talk about what's out there online. They say, how do you know if something's a viable source? you have to do your research and
Yeah.
you have to look. And if I read something that sounds like a bunch of baloney, I'm going to go out and find out whether or not it's true on my own.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are very lazy when it comes to information they read online, and they just forward it along or pass it on without any sort of verification. You just have to be responsible for your own information.
I think actually that's the perfect ending to this one. Be responsible. That's why we always put the articles in the descriptions right there. We give you a little bit of information. You guys can run with it. Jimmy, bring me home here.
I think no, just you got to question everything you see on Facebook. Abraham Lincoln said that.